Who needs embarrassment? Tell me. Tell me who needs embarrassment. You know, I give you a few different looks during the course of a podcast. I give you a hey ho regular Joe or something. I give you a regular Joe, or I give you like a please and thank you guy, or a hard on guy, or a pleasure to meet you guy, or there's like I'll sometimes give a nice for being here guy, or a please don't come again guy, or a scapegoat guy, or a cleaning guy, or a Gemini man, or a tiger guy, or a placemat guy, or a senator guy, or like a placement guy, or a basement worker guy, or a tenant. They call me scatterbrained, literally to my face. They do. The people that anybody that would call somebody that I would say is calling somebody, it's me getting called scatterbrained if there's a calling going on. My dog Ziggy is on hand today, and he's licking his butt, and he does that a lot. And you know what? I don't know what I'm supposed to do about it. I tell him no. I just let him lick his butt for a little bit. And then after a little while, then I'm like, hey, now you got to stop. He only gets a certain limit. Except, I guess I could be in a worse mood and be like, no, you can't. Because, I'm pretty harsh when it comes down to it. Don't consider me to be not harsh, because I pretty much wrote the book on harsh and you didn't. So you're author, you weren't the name written inside of it. It wasn't your diary. My diary is for my eyes only. But Ziggy's still licking his butt still, and you know what? I'm glad he started doing that. I'm excited about that. Because I can't control it. It's not like I have. Oh, he stopped. You know that he. Yeah. Yeah, he stopped. A dog stops, right? Doesn't a dog stops, right? Yeah. Dogs always stop. They always do. If he was a dog, like, that because he stopped, that he was a dog, but you already knew that. He's looking at me now. He always looks at me. My dog always looks at me. He always looks at me. I like to not pay attention to things, but now I have a dog, and so the world requires me to pay attention to something. And whoever said that was any fun, paying attention to something, why? Let's gather around. Okay, so Fred McGriff. I think I still got a bone or two to pick about Fred McGriff or something like that. That I gotta get stuck out of my craw, because it's like my boner about Fred McGriff is stuck in my craw, and I need to like replace it with something else, like a cigarette. And it's just like towards, who was it that I said? Tim McGraw? Was it who was it? Fred McGriff. Oh yeah, because they're both. So my boner is in whatever direction, whatever one you want to say. And Fred McGriff. Here's what I want to say about Fred McGriff. Like, home run city, baby. Like, wow, how many? Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You keep going, because you'll be around for a while. I'm gonna go to the supermarket while you keep counting Fred McGriff's home runs. I'll be back in time. I should be gone for a couple hours. I better bring my $500 credit card, because she's gonna like spend more time, because time is money, like in every instance. Who wants to hear information at a time like this? Really? Or any time information from somebody? I don't want to hear information from somebody, but whatever. It's like I declare information. I declare information on this podcast, and it declareth from I on this podcast, and it's my information, and then it's polished and publicized for the gathering, for the consummation of the consumption of the people and the entertainers Like, you know how some people speak and they're just, I don't know, they're just like, because I don't want to talk about mysticism or something like that. Because what would I really be concerned about in being mystic? Would I want to be mystic? Mystic, like, because you get the title futurist if people respect you. If I'm talking about the future, if I'm talking about the way that things will trend, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess I like to make predictions. I mean, whatever, you could call me a futurist, whatever. It's just like, whatever. It's not like I am. You know how nerdy it would be to want to be called a futurist? I'm a futurist. There's more to life than being a futurist. Don't you remember that Proverbs 23:17? There's more to life than being a polytheist. What was it? What'd I say? There's more to life to being than being a publicist or piano pedagogy. Was it a publicist or a piano pedagogy? Was it piano pedagogy? Was it that? Piano pedagogy? You know what? I think I'm going to get my major in piano pedagogy. I don't know what it is. Just like the pedagogy is calling me about it. It's piano pedagogy and but it's kind of like pedagogy is sort of like the thing that I'm into about it. It's kind of just like the really, really general style that I like general. I like piano by itself, but with another word attached to it. I love piano pedagogy. I really can't get enough of piano pedagogy. I think I'm gonna get my PhD in piano pedagogy. I think I'm gonna get my PhD in piano pedagogy, but I have to get my master's first. I'm still in my master's years. This is my 6th year into it for piano pedagogy. 6 years well fought, but I'm so excited for the next 4. You gain 14 years of experience in piano pedagogy. I'm piano pedagogist number 1. And then you can go to a concert, then you can be part of concerts at other Christian colleges. And that's what if you're a piano pedagogist, probably. They're Maranatha's they're 2 of the most renowned piano pedagogists in the world is what's coming to be the concert that you're viewing this Friday night. I love that. I love that Maranatha does that. I'm so intrigued. I'm so intrigued by that. I love that they do that. I think of it positively, what the hell? What the fuck? You do that? Here's what I'm talking about. Maranatha Baptist Bible College in Watertown, Wisconsin. They do a Friday night. They make their students go to a Friday night concert, but it's just a concert of 2 people playing a trombone, and one of them is the accompaniment for the other trombone, and it's just playing a harmony, and it's just 2 different guys playing a trombone or something, but they're from Russia. And Maranatha makes their students go to one of these concerts during the school year as part of getting their degree. That's what I'm talking about if you didn't know what I was talking about. That's more, truth is stranger than fiction, duh. What a thing to say, because there's nothing redeeming about using that phrase, actually. There's nothing redeeming about saying that and actually meaning it. Truth is stranger than fiction. There's no, what's a worse one than that? Truth is stranger than fiction. I don't know. Truth is stranger than fiction. Don't give me that back. Yeah, but Maranatha does that. I think that's fun. That's kind of interesting. What do they do? Why do they do that? Why does Maranatha do a Friday night concert? That's what I want to know. Why do they do a Friday night concert? They're if you don't mind me explaining it. Because maybe I know already. Well, why does Maranatha do a Friday night concert? Can we just stop for a second to figure that out? Anybody who knows about Maranatha, that's who my audience is in particular right now. Anybody who knows Maranatha, or whatever. or anyone, what, or whatever your conceptual idea is of Maranatha from afar. If just from the limited description I've given to you, if you've never heard about it, we're all included, right? Because I need to preach to you in order to get you all on the same track for the message I'm about to deliver. But it's more just like oh yeah, because now I got to be smart and like, ooh, fast guy talk smart. Like, ooh, nice. Fast guy talk smart isn't going to cut it in this changing world. Fast guy talk smart is a loudmouth. Like, he is too fast and jolty. Talk smooth. Wide mouth is a much better performer than he is. That guy has 2 faulty knees and a backwards handkerchief that he's using for like a do-rag, and he can't even walk anywhere without wearing like flip-flops and like baggy pants or something. Like so there's a banquet. There's a Friday party coming up that you're required to attend. It's a concert. There's a Friday concert that you are going to attend. It's this Friday. It will be before the weekend, before the ceremonies of the weekend commence. This is the initiation of the commencement of the weekend ceremonies, the Friday night ball the gala that we're going to attend. It's going to be for all the college, and we've invited a very special guest. A very important guest is coming to Maranatha. They're world renowned. Maranatha does associate themselves with the world. They are in tune with the world. The world is very important to them. Maranatha holds themselves to a high standard. They are a higher education, learning experience because they're a certain kind of high standard, obviously. Like the world, well, whatever, they want to make themselves look in tune with the world, because that's like the best that a Christian college can do. Really, they got to make themselves look in tune with, like, that they really like the world, like they really like promote countries, promote just that there are lots of countries, like say that in their language and their vocabulary. Like the faculty members in the institution itself, they have to associate with the world to make themselves be a university. Like they do at least have some respect in calling themselves a university. Like if they're going to do that, if they're going to say that they're associating with different countries, like Cedarville, where I went to college, they had all the countries' flags like decorating the auditorium all the time, or maybe just one semester of the year or something. And of course you want to associate with the world. Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, I'm just saying that it's kind of like, if you're really conservative Christian, then it's unnatural to, it would be like more unnatural to see yourself in scope with the rest of the world, because normally they'd be a bit more nationalistic, or so, maybe like more nationalistic, or like if you're more, I'm not sure if that's exactly the point that I meant, but Maranatha does a Friday night concert because there's a theater that night, and it's a performance. They feel obligated. Maranatha feels obligated. They probably think that they're doing the students a favor, but like they probably think they might think they're doing the students a favor. Like Friday, they're like, this is the Friday thing. They made, like, delusional parents. They think their kids will like this thing that they're just like forcing on them, rather than like the kids would just want to do whatever, want to be free. Delusional parents. What was I going to say? Like Maranatha Baptist Bible College, they maybe think that maybe they think that the students want it. Oh, those students want it, baby. They want this Friday night concert. Give it to them. They want a Friday night conch. Friday night Connie for all of us. We're going to see one piano player and one guy with the cymbals. One piano player and one guy with the cymbals. But they're from Poland. So yeah, Poland's in the house. They got one guy with cymbals and one regular standard piano provided by Maranatha. Well, that's a sturdy piano. We got 40 more of them in the room over. Well, how many pianos do you need? You need 20 or 30 or 40? We got, every room here is filled. We got tons of piano. You're at Maranatha. Yes, this is Maranatha is like the piano factory. It's a piano. It's where pianos were born. Like that's what people know. They're like, oh, when people like 100 years from now, they'll just remember that. Well, it was Maranatha that was the piano capital of the world for a long time. Who knows how long? But I'm sure that they still are. They're like, oh, what's a classroom that doesn't have a piano in it? They're like, oh, why is there no piano in the mess hall? Like in the mess hall, why is there no piano in the dining room? There should be a piano at every table. Shouldn't there be the ratio of pianos to professors like be 1-to-1 or something like that? And the faculty members, like the faculty to the professors to the students, should be like the ratio of pianos to students and faculty members, plus the ratio of the piano of faculty members to professors. Isn't it pianos that they chopped up, like they chopped up all the pianos to make the houses, like make the buildings and the dorms? Aren't they made out of piano wood previously minted pianos? Aren't they made out of previously minted pianos from like the 1800s or something like that? Is how they made all their buildings, or at least the first like 80% of them. And then they started using like regular things like stone and wood, like just tree wood. But then they started using tree wood for their like dormitories and stuff, but that was like only the last 20% of all the dorms that they made. But like yeah, I'm pretty sure that they didn't have like one piano in like outside or anything, and then they put one out there too, just because they're like the outside's a place too. They realized like 30 years into it, like, well, what if the outside was a place? Then we could put a piano out there. And then they're like, they leave the piano like in the middle of the campus, and they're like, well, we might as well make a piano for every pathway between any pathway a student could walk between any two buildings, any permutation of a pathway between two buildings on our campus. Well, we got to put a piano at the crux of it. And so there's like pianos just outside everywhere, and they're like, well, you can't move them because they designate what the walking paths are between the buildings. They're memoriams of what a walking path is and was and will be and always will be, as designated by the sturdiest of all and longest longevity whatever instruments, the piano. Because if you didn't know, God lives in that piano, and if he wasn't sustaining the piano, he's not sustaining us. So if there's not direct relationship of God to that piano, then we do not have the grounds to speak or anything to live by other than what was taken away from us with the piano. But there's I'm a product of the 90s, bitch. Yeah. I'm a product of the 90s, bitch. Yeah. I'm a product of the 90s, bitch. The 90s is like, what kind of decade is that? You know what I'm talking about? What kind of decade is that? What kind of decade is the 90s? Is it just mysterious because that's what I was born into? But who needs to wonder about what the real part in it was? I'm concerned with what it is objectively. 90s. The 90s objectively is. I feel like it's kind of more feminine. The 90s, it's kind of like feminine. It's not so concerned with its identity. Like, it's something that doesn't really have an identity so much, the 90s, except that it was just like lesser, like primitive, more immature than the way that we are now. Like it's just kind of like, it's innocent when you think of the way that people lived in the 90s. That's what it feels like to me. Like, just that they didn't, like, you could still, it's just like everybody was outside still more, but like, it's not innocent today. It's just everybody has a different standard of innocent based on what they, based on the time period that they live in, but you just declare different things. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying by that point is that It doesn't matter what you declare something to be. That just happens to be your enunciation for it, your verbalization of it. That just happens to be the thing that you speak it through, is like the medium that you chose from your mind. But that's the thing I'm on about right now. That's the platform I'm on about right now. Is that the medium? The word is just a touchstone. It's just a medium. Isn't that fascinating? It's just fascinating to me. It is, though. That the word is just a medium. It's just a word. It's a definition, but it's a medium, meaning it's a channel, or like it channels your thoughts to somebody else's thoughts. It's a channel. It channels in some way. It's a mediator between you and them, where you and them have different values, because if it is a medium, it is something that infers that there's a lower and a higher. But the lower and the higher in this case, if you're communicating to somebody else, are the two people that are there, because they have different values. Like ultimately they have different values. They're different people, but they're separated geographic, like by their location, different positions, and why go into that? And like, I feel like I like it better when I'm when I'm just like more happy about speaking it, and then I don't, because sometimes it's more just like, oh, I'm talking about what's going on the inside of my head, like I am doing right now. Sometimes it's just more like I'm talking about what's going on the inside of my head. But what is this now? But what did I start talking about? But I don't know that I can make this even this is just like a regular I'm talking podcast. Oh, Christ. Like, I don't know that I want to do that. I got to make it about some sort of topic, right? I got to make it, because it's just like I don't know, regular talking. But I mean, you can, but like, you can't, obviously. Duh. But there's nothing. What the fuck? I just wonder what I was talking about at the beginning. I was talking about Maranatha. Like, Maranatha Baptist BBC. I'm talking about Maranatha Baptist Bible College. Like, really, honest to God. I'm talking about Maranatha Baptist Piano Bible College. Is that what PBC or whatever is in Pennsylvania? Piano Bible College? Yeah, PBC. Is it really PBC? That just doesn't sound like a good 3 letters in a row, quite honestly. Like, not meaning to be harsh about anybody. Like, I'm roasting these Christian colleges right now. Like, I'm roasting these Christian, because what else am I going to roast? Being from like totally Christian background, like somebody needs to roast them. Who's going to roast it? Like, everybody needs, as long as they're on my mind, I got to roast something. Like, nobody's roasting them, and somebody should roast them, right? Somebody should roast the Christian colleges. Somebody should roast every single one of them entirely. But I don't want to be responsible for all of fucking that. Like, every single Christian college. What if I did a series where I just talked about a Christian college and every single one of them? I'm serious. What if I did a series? You motherfucker, you're a dumb bitch. A series. You can't series. It's not a series. It's just like, don't call it a series. It's not a series. It's a series. Like, you would have to call it an album or something. Like it's an album. I do an album where, like, you could call it an album, but that's just totally up to your interpretation. It doesn't matter. You don't got to call it anything. It's not like a series. It's not a series. It's not, because the whole point is that it isn't a series. No part of it is a series, because you keep changing. It's all one diversified series. The thing that I do, the like podcast that I make, that's all that I want to do, is make it endless. Yeah. But why do I always talk about it? Why do I always say what I'm doing with it? Maybe it's just because, like, fuck the art, fuck artistic value. Like, no, I'm just going to reveal that it was this, because it just propels you in the direction of having to find new shit to do. Right? Does it not? That's exactly why I do it. I know. I mean, that's got to be why. Because I say it, then I'm like, oh, now you got to find something else, because people are finding out, and then it takes me to somewhere else, But that's just something that I'm going to naturally do. Like, that's just an inherent quality that I have. Like, I have inherent qualities that I have limitations, There are limitations, things that I'm going to repeat that I can't stop myself from repeating. Those are sort of like limitations, That's a limitation. Like, that's what people don't understand when I come into work late all the time. I have this limitation where I can't come in on time. It's a personality trait. Me, and there's like 12 people on the team that I work, and then there's this one other 30-year-old woman that I work with, and she she also comes in late, and so it's the two of us that always come in late, and we're just known for those people always coming late. They can't come on time no matter what. And it's like, well, yeah, that's because it's like it's more unstoppable than a lot of other things. I feel like somebody who's just late all the time, how do you stop that? How do you change that character? Like, that's impossible. That a person has to change that themselves. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, that's such a limitation that you get mad at me for. That's such a limitation. It's just like a thing that I can't do. Oh, you can do it if the motive. Well, like, I guess the level of motivation to get me to do it is not meeting me where I'm at. Also, like, I need motivation to arrive on time. Like, I do need motivation to arrive on time. So, and that's, you know, they're just like, and there it goes. You know, I held that secret for a long time, many years. I forget what I even said, actually. Oh, he's brash. Do you hear how he delivered that by saying one thing after the next? Wow, he's real brash. Thank you. Brashful. I'm very brash. Fascist. Cleanse my palate, Lord. Make it clear to me. Maranatha Baptist College and Maranatha B College, Baptist College. Maranatha Pembine Baptist is going to be, because there's a B and an M in that one too. Pembine, Maranatha. No, there's no B in Maranatha. God, I'm a dumbass again. Where would it go? Marabnatha? Marbanatha, that's good. Marbanatha. Well, it wouldn't be B Maranatha. It wouldn't be Maranathab. It would have to be you pronounce the TH just as a T on the end. Maranatab. Why not? Maranatab. That's the most Hebrew thing I've ever heard. Maranatab. I don't see why not. Maranathans probably love Hebrews. Maranathans heart Hebrews. There's like in their gift shop, and they have a gift shop. Like, they don't have a. They're like a attraction. You know, you go and they have a gift shop. They're like a museum. There's like, but they have this Friday night concert, and they tell their students to go to commence the weekend activities in the beginning of that, and everybody has to go. All the student body has to go and attend, and they have to watch, and so your eyes just have to be paid attention. It's just like you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to this thing for 2 hours. Like, you have to pay attention. Like, that's why they bring you there and seat you all in front of it and like make sure you're not sleeping. They walk around and like try to make sure that you're not sleeping and stuff like that, because it's really important. Unless I'm making that up, honestly, I don't know. I might be making that up. I really have no idea. Walking around till I just feel like anything I'm supposed to pay attention to, like, really people are really concerned about the attention that, like, they're making sure that you're not sleeping. So if I'm adding that in, then I'm exaggerating it. Maybe. But they're Maranatha. And they tell you to go, so you have to pay attention. You have to look across at the thing. And attention has to be paid, meaning that your attention is not yours. Like, your attention is not yours. Your attention is their attention. What they think needs to be attended to is what the students have to attend to, because the students have to do what the governing body has to do. It's just like totalitarian. The governing body decides what needs to be attended to and takes the attention away from the participants. Like, takes the attention away as much as they can. I mean, they took those 2 hours of attention. I'm not saying anything negative about it. I'm just trying to say it as plainly as possible. Like, the attention that they take, like, you don't get that 2 hour window. They just want your attention. But, like, also they're going to monitor you to make sure that they're just going to monitor you all the time to make sure that you are paying attention to the things that they need you to, like, which means they just take away like 45% of the things that you could conceivably pay attention to, Maranatha does. They take away like 45% of it, so there's like, so you have to find new things to pay attention to, or you're just like limited in what you're allowed to pay attention to, because they draw back, or they like watch you, or make sure that they're always trying to make sure that you're not doing anything within like the 40% that they've declared as off limits. And they're like, so they just don't let you pay attention to. They don't let you pay attention on your own all the time. They just want to take as much of your attention. I mean, because if it was up to them, you would be totally controllable. Honestly, probably the student body, like you wouldn't have a say, because it's like your uncontrollable nature that's a threat to them, because they're afraid of things that are uncontrollable, because they're attention people, because they need attention, because they're afraid of not having attention, and they take attention from you. And they're like, Maranatha, like, Maranatha, they take attention from you because they don't want you, because they want to control you as long as you're on their grounds, on their property. Like you have to represent them well too. You have to be Christian everywhere, and they're monitoring you to make sure that you're not sinning and becoming less Christian. And like, because if you are, then you're not representative of what they're representative of. So they're always trying to uphold their reputation, you know. They're always they gotta uphold their reputation as Christians, so they like respect themselves to this certain kind of standard, and then so they're like, well, it needs to be this Christian, it needs to be this Christian. So I guess like Christian to them does include like trying to focus on all these different countries of the world. Like Christian to them is that, or like as best Christian as that they could do. But like apparently the best Christian that they could do just makes it best Christian that you can do. Like most Christian possible will take your attention away from you. Like the more, I gotta be straightforward about this, like the more Christian it's, the more attention it's gonna take away from you. But I don't, the more you're involved in it, but it's just like, obviously it's going to take your attention away from you, because you're spending your time doing that and not with something else. You're deciding, though, that is what attention is supposed to be paid to, the more Christian you are. So the disagreement I would have with a Christian person is that if they are saying that a Christian isn't just, being more Christian isn't going to take more of your attention away. Well, it does, yeah. It does take more of your attention away. It's just that a Christian wouldn't call it attention, because they couldn't say, well, they couldn't agree with me on that term because that term is too negative. Like they would say, it's not taking my attention away. It's not taking away my attention. Maybe it's just right in the middle, negative or positive about it. That's the word that I'm declaring it. You know, it's negative, or it's kind of in the middle. It's kind of like obvious, but but also it's taking your attention, like it's a negative thing. I don't know. I can't really tell. So that's the word I provide you with to describe what Maranatha is. It's just attention. They want attention. They want attention. It's that simple. The people within, I mean, no, that can't be, but not like, if they wanted attention, they would try to be more popular. If they wanted attention, they just want your attention at what the things, they just want to show you what they think is special, because they need to control people to tell them that their things are special, like control them to attend, to have everybody be in agreement about what's special and what isn't, because Maranatha needs you to think the same things are special that they think are special. You know, they need you to think that what they think is special. They need you to believe in the dreams that they have. Like they need you to go to the concert, and like this is what they think is like, because they're just putting on this world for you, or they're like, oh, it's a world university, because to them, since they don't include themselves with the rest of the world is sort of Maranatha. And so Maranatha makes it so that they're a prestigious university. They take on the identity, but it's kind of superficial to take on the identity when you don't like to include yourself with the rest of the land, the rest of the space around you, like where everybody's just practicing the reality of the world, because you are worldly, but you're not. You're only worldly as far as the Christians will allow you to take on that word, because a Christian doesn't want to be worldly, so maybe that's the problem I have with them displaying flags. They're like, well, we're worldly, actually. So they're like, oh, see? So they're proud about being worldly, but they're like, but it really only extends to like other Christians that they found dotted throughout the globe. Like, but they're like, Maranatha, you know that? Maranatha Baptist Bible College. Like, if you went to Union Grove Christian School, like, I would love to have an open dialogue about Maranatha Baptist Bible College. Let's just, like, why is there not a forum, like, that we started already? But they're like, they're just Maranatha. They're like, why do they have, I don't understand what's going on with their basketball and their soccer teams, or like a Maranatha sports team. I get confused every single time I think about it. There's a Maranatha High School, right? There's a Maranatha High School, I think, and they're like, but why do we never play them? Why does our high school never play Maranatha? I'm just like, you remember our high school? I'm not talking about it for that long. Jeez, you can talk about a high school. There must be some big stigma about people talking about their high school experiences or something. Like, are you living in the past? Or maybe I'm just making it a stigma, or like, to me, it's a stigma I took on that it is one. High school is like, but the high school that I went to, you would want to talk about all the time. If you went there, you would want to talk about it endlessly. I don't talk about it that much. Union Grove Christian School, that high school, baby. Union Grove Christian School, that's what I got. Yeah. I was there for 14 years in a row. I tell people 13 years, so it lessens the impact of the statement. I tell people 13 years until today. I'm like, well, actually 14. 14 years, like, there's a big line, there's a big difference. Like, 14, like, you went, because then you're like 4 to adult at Union Grove Christian School. Yeah, I'm a 14 year guy. Like, shouldn't that be what's on the wall there? Shouldn't I be on the wall for making it 14 years? One of the walls should just be my face. Or at least, but I mean, so they don't use the school anymore, but one of the walls should be like in the sanctuary area, because that's what they use as sanctuary. Like, I can be the mural in the back of the pulpit or whatever, like, but me naked or something like that. Like, but like, so I don't know why, because I did 14 years there. Like, that's the least that they could do. Like, there's got to be some naked portrait of me somewhere, right? Wouldn't that only be what they're trying to describe? Like, they took my entire soul, like. So it's like, here he is naked. All the 14-year people are here on the 14-year wall, and it's just like one of the classrooms. Yeah, whatever. Like, but like, it would be cool if I had a picture of me naked there or whatever. Like, they're just like the window, sometimes like curtains, like one of the curtains could, or like the pews, like the material that they do the pews with, they could just like refill it with like murals, or just like imagery, kind of like in a cave found stuff, like of me and my stories and the things I played out in my life, whatever. And but Maranatha, get that Baptist Bible. Maranatha, get that Bible. Maranatha, get that Bible, yeah. Maranatha, get that Bible, get on it. Maranatha, get that Bible, take it home. Maranatha, get that Bible, read all of it. Maranatha, get that Bible, give me some. Maranatha, get that Bible, I want more. Maranatha, give me that Bible. Oh, Maranatha, give me that Bible, and take it home. Hey, do you guys hear about the Bible? This is one guy speaking this. So Maranatha get that Bible, and they're Maranatha Baptist College, Maranatha Baptist Piano College, Maranatha Piano, MPPC, Maranatha Piano College, PPBC, Piano Bible College, Piano Bible College. No, that's in Pennsylvania. Which one? It's, you know that it's because it's one that started with P. So Pennsylvania is the only state that starts with a P, but they get that, all permutations of that 3-word phrase. It starts with a P. So they get a third of it, even though they really only claim authority to a 50th of it. What's a 3-word phrase? They're like, what's that 3-word phrase? Piano Baptist. I mean, it doesn't have to be 3 letters. It can be any amount of letters. Land College, like Maranatha Baptist Piano Bible Land College. Land of Holistic Medicine Maranatha Bible Natha. Yeah, because Maranatha, they got, I don't know, they have like a high school that plays, but we never play them in state, except occasionally we did play them in state in basketball or something, and like, but there's just a rare occasion, like the shiny and new Maranatha Baptist like basketball team, either in college or high school. Like the high school still has that Maranatha name, and the Maranatha stank is all over them, and which is that they try to make themselves look better than everybody else, like more pristine, don't they, the uniform, and they carry to that like, well, we're the capital of Christianity in this state, and Maranatha is the glory. It's the glory of the universities and institutions that practice higher learning in the entire state, and it's located here at Maranatha, and anything under the Maranatha name is royalty, so we have to maintain the uniforms in terms of their popularity and their use, like their value at all times. We're Maranatha there. The Maranatha name is so prevalent in Wisconsin, but Northland, they're just like, oh, we're green, we're the woods. Like, yeah, we're up in the woods. The first time that I went to Northland, like Northland International, look, there you go, international. They're international. They are international. They associate with the world too, apparently. So that myth, like, you probably came from a high school just as conservative as this college, but they believed that the world was bad. But we are academic higher institution, and we associate with the world. We're international. We're actually Northland International, because we send people to all the different countries, because we're a real university. I mean, they send people, but like, you know what? Every college does that. So you're just saying that you're a college, but you just have problems saying that you're that. So it's something that you publicize about yourself. There's like, so like you're international, you're worldly. Like there's every college is worldly. Like you're just trying to say that you're a college. Like you don't believe yourself to be one. You got to prove it with stuff like flags. And because every college, like any public university, they're not going to publicize like, oh, the world, because they're not concerned with associating with the world, because they know a university is already associated with the world. So Maranatha is just like, oh, see, we are a university. We associate with the world in Northland, because they don't understand entirely themselves to be a university the same way other universities do, but it's because they practice a reality that's much smaller in scope than the reality of the world, and because reality of the world is a different thing that they separate themselves from, but the reality of the world is a greater it's a greater amount of reality, a belief. It's a belief that it's a belief like that the world has a reality, because they have to agree to a reality too. Like it's the reality of the world. It's just a reality that doesn't agree to sub-realities that are like, does that make sense? Who knows? I don't know if I want to even send this one out. Like seriously, I don't feel that great. I don't like that I get into information again, because the previous one that I recorded was, it was saying infinity equals 1, and I felt like I was happier then, and this time I'm just like lower about it or something. Like I don't really know. I just like, but also I don't want to come across really negative or anything like that, because it's totally like It's totally cool to be Christian, like, but because obviously I'm going to be concerned because I know so many Christian people, but who knows? Maybe it's just like not Christian people that listen to my thing. So like, I don't want to because I'm a bitch because I'm like, oh, I'm scared because 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 I'm a bitch about it, because like, or whatever. But it's a sensitive culture. You can't just like say things about whatever. And also Facebook, that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they all make it so that it's harder to like be like, you can't just be yourself with your friends so much if you are like existing publicly through these mediums that like show other people what you are. But like those mediums like Facebook kind of makes it so that everybody has to appear sort of well, and Instagram really especially makes it so that everybody has to appear well. They have to appear well while they're on there. And so it makes it so that like even just like regular things, you could just like stuff that you would say to your friends or whatever, you can't say on Facebook because it's just like a higher standard, like it's a gated community or something, like Facebook or Twitter, but not so much Twitter. And that's why I'm just on Twitter and Snapchat. Those don't feel like gated communities to me. Twitter is just kind of like Twitter. You should be on there to like make fun of people. Like that's what it's for. Of course we need an outlet for that, like a place to make fun of everybody. Like why wouldn't that exist? Like why would anybody have a problem with that? Are you looking to live in a utopian society where everything is positive? There's no such thing. There's no such thing as making everything, there's actually like Twitter's actually kind of negative, the things that people say on there. Like people should shit on each other all the time on Twitter, shouldn't they? Like that's just part of life. There's got to be a place to do that. Like there's that entire direction of energy to go somewhere like that's negative. Like it's got to be somewhere. You can't, because people I feel like are less and less angry in public. Like I don't know if that's true. It just seems like that to me, like from when I was a kid. Like people are just like less verbal, communicative, and angry. I mean, they're more on their phones. People are just more like, people don't confront people as much anymore. Like confrontation needs to happen somewhere. Like, and we're all supposed to appear to be good on the outside more too. And like, we have to confront people somewhere, just like be a dick to somebody somewhere. Like that's what Twitter is for. Not that I ever use it for that. I just make comments like, I just say something. I just make it this project, my Twitter, just like, how do you say something organically on your Twitter? That's just say something organic, like try anytime that like you think that's like an organic something. It has to meet organic, but also presentable to Twitter. Like, so it's like your tweet. But why am I so concerned with a tweet is all the problem of it. Like, you're just like concerned with a tweet, you dumbass, like you fuck. Like, it's just like, it's just a Twitter. But it doesn't matter because I really don't want to tweet that much because I don't want to tweet, but I need a better Twitter. Like my Twitter sucks. It sucks. I can't, because it's not, I forget. Believe you me, I forget. I liked what I was talking about. But like, so I want to talk about Fred McGriff or something. I wanted to start this and actually talk about baseball or sports. I wanted to talk about sports because exactly that's what I'm going to do on this podcast too. And I just wanted to talk about home run hitters or something. Like Barry Bonds hits home runs, but I just like to get into it by saying something entirely obvious. Just like, I love to repeat obvious points of reference for things, so just like move on. Like I have to start there. Like Barry Bonds hit home runs. Barry Bonds hit home runs. Barry Bonds hit home runs. Hank Aaron hit home runs. Roberto Clemente, Roberto Clemente didn't really hit that many home runs. He was more of a base stealer. I don't think he hit that many home runs, but he's a really memorable name. I think maybe he's one of the first Hispanic or something. Maybe one of the first Hispanic well-known, Roberto Clemente. Third baseman for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Roberto Clemente. Right? Third baseman. And he's probably played in the 80s. Who's the guy that pitched a no-hitter when he was on LSD? Was that... Who's the guy that pitched a no-hitter when he was on LSD? Lynn Swann? No, it's not Lynn Swann. Lynn Swann. I had no idea until the other day that Terry Bradshaw is like 4-0 as a quarterback in Super Bowls. It doesn't make me think any more higher of him. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. 4-0 as a quarterback, but I've never heard about it. He's like, but I'm sure everybody already knows that, or like sports people assume that I know that. Pittsburgh, like he played for Pittsburgh and won 4 Super Bowls. Like I don't know, that maybe that just kind of fits in with the whole thing, because I know that he's supposed to be attributed all this authority, and it's not like Terry Bradshaw, like there's nothing wrong with Terry Bradshaw. He had like 1 or 2 years where he had like a pretty off year. Like I feel like he recovered pretty well in 2019 after things were trending downward for a while. 2019, Terry Bradshaw didn't have a bad year on the airwaves. Lee Corso's been like a walking corpse for the last 8 years or so. I can't believe they let that guy out there, but you know, that's Disney for you. They just love their traditions. They're like, oh, they love the old man. Like they don't even see how terrible he is. I can't believe that he keeps coming back and he's not self-aware enough to know that he sounds totally incoherent on air. Lee Corso. Like Lee Corso, get off the air. There's not enough, but Disney just wants to be like, oh, College Game Day, like it has to be with Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit. That's a tradition, because all they know is the Magic Kingdom and the tradition of being, because all they know is that tradition. Like they just love the magical idea that they get to like associate themselves, like the College Game Day, like the magic of it, the magical production that they put on. They can't let go of that exactly the way that it was, and it has to be the same way that it was, because it's like a story the same way as the stories in the movies that they present, like Peter Pan. You know, Peter Pan's always that same story. It's always the same story. They put it in the Disney vault, and then it's still Peter Pan. They're like Cinderella. They're like, it's the same story. Like, oh, you can know about Cinderella while it's in the Disney vault, or you can buy Cinderella and know that you can always see Cinderella again as long as you have it. You don't have to worry. Really, it's just the peace of mind that you don't have to worry about not seeing Cinderella is what you can avoid by buying Cinderella and saving her from the Disney vault. The Disney vault, like Cinderella is not, so it's like Disney's holding her captive. Like she's a servant to them. Like, isn't that the opposite of what Cinderella is for? I thought that Cinderella was for being available to us. I thought Cinderella was like I thought we were supposed to make Cinderella not a slave to money, like, or to whatever it is. Like, Cinderella needs to get her shit together. Like, she needs to stand up for herself. I mean, whatever. I mean, she's going to be a servant. Like, I thought she got out of that designation, but Cinderella, like Winnie the Pooh, what is that? Winnie the Pooh, that's a Disney thing, apparently. Winnie the Pooh, like, what is that thing? Like, is there Winnie, what is Winnie the Pooh? What is this, like a yellow bear? Or like what is he, like, he's a yellow bear? He's a Pooh bear? He's a Pooh bear? That's like pejorative term, like that seems like a demeaning thing to say. He's a Pooh bear. He's like is he a Pooh bear? Is he a Pooh bear? Is Winnie the Pooh a Pooh bear? Is he like, which Pooh, like, which Pooh is he? Like, which bear? Like, which bear? Like, which Pooh? Like, which which Winnie is he? Like, which Pooh? Which Pooh is he? Like, which bear? Is he like Pooh? Is he Winnie Bear? Is he like, well, but which one is it? But how do you get to be Winnie the Pooh? Is it because he's Winnie a Pooh? Winnie a Pooh? Winnie the Pooh. He's the only one. Winnie the Pooh. He's the only Pooh. But he's Pooh Bear, but gets to be mentioned alongside a polar bear or a grizzly bear because there's only one of his species. He's Pooh Bear. He's Pooh Bear. We call him that. Pooh Bear, it's cute. Pooh Bear? Why do you not grasp that shouldn't be said? Pooh Bear. Why is there not, why does the world have to go to dark places? Why is there a hell? Like, why is there evil in the world? Why is there death? Like, people say Pooh Bear to me. Like, people say Pooh Bear to me, and they say it with their words, and then they speak it. They speak through that medium. Like, it's a touchstone that they choose to use that's within their vocabulary. And they're like, it's Winnie the Pooh bear. It's actually Pooh Bear. Winnie, he's a bear, but you get to, if you do it's Winnie the Pooh Bear, then you also understand that he is a bear, because he's actually three things. He's Winnie, he's Pooh, and he's a bear. And not one of the three is over the other three. Winnie the Pooh, he's Winnie, like that's his title, that's his first name. He's the Pooh. He's the Pooh. He's the shit. Like, he's Winnie the shit. Winnie the shit. Winnie the Pooh. But Pooh is like a baby term for it, like a Pooh. A Winnie is Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the baby, like, he's the baby, but, like, that's just what he is. He's like a brickmaker or a wagon or a Wainwright, so it is like a last name. So it's a Pooh. Pooh is the last name. Winnie is the first name. And he's a bear, and he's a human, okay, so he's those three things. Okay, so he is, so there is a order there. So the order is that he's Winnie most individually, he's Pooh as the middle, like as a group. That's a group he associates himself with. That's like it's like a genre, or just like his occupation or something. Like he's a Pooh, the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. Is that true though? He's the Pooh. He's the Pooh. He's the Pooh. He's like the baby is what, it's the reason I got there. He's like the baby. He's Winnie the baby. Right? Because you're just like, what are you describing with the word Pooh? Pooh, like Winnie the Pooh, because if it's Winnie the shit, he's the shit, like Winnie the shit. But like that's not a bad like title, Winnie the shit. But he's Winnie the Pooh. Like, there's nothing. He just like has no constitution. He's like, Pooh is usually closer to diarrhea than a solid. Like Pooh is kind of between both of those. It's just Pooh. It includes all poo. A Pooh includes all poop. Like, does poop include all poop? Yes, it does now, because we grew up and started using poop. But Pooh kind of includes... No, poop is more for solids, and Pooh is more for not a solid. Seriously, Pooh is more inclusive of all kinds of things. Like, it's more inclusive of solid than poop is of liquid, I would say. Poop is more of a solid, and Pooh is a liquid. There you go. That's what it is. I'm serious. That's the designation. Poop is a solid, Pooh is a liquid. But is either one of those better than the other? I don't know. Poop or Pooh, but he's Winnie the Pooh. And so he's liquid poop. So he's liquid poop. And that's what he's that kind of, he's that bear. He's liquid poop bear. And in equivalent title, like a title with as much authority as polar, grizzly, or black. He's liquid Pooh bear, and there's only one of them in his species, but he gets to be he's a bear. Winnie the Pooh. His name is Winnie. Well, and he likes honey because, man, like someone was just on acid when they made that story up. Like, well, he's a Pooh bear and he likes to he likes to eat honey. Well, bears like to eat honey, don't they? So that's a natural. It's just like, that must just be some sort of stereotype, like a stereotype or a slur on bears, that they're always eating honey. Like, I guess they're climbing trees. Like, bears climb trees, is that true? Do bears? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bears climb a tree. You don't want to... Is that... Because everybody probably knows whatever one it is, that you're not supposed to climb a tree when a bear is chasing you. Because if that's true, apparently I don't exactly know that. I just think about that apparently running down a hill is better. That's what I was told, as opposed to having to run up a hill against a bear, because a bear doesn't have feet that'll allow it to run downhill very fast. You want to run downhill, but like, I think about that all the time, because when am I going to be in a situation where I'm running from a bear and also there happens to be a great enough incline that I can use that kind of incline to my advantage in the place that I'm running? Like The forest will probably just be up and down. Like, it's not going to allow me to be running downhill. I'm not going to be running downhill at any point that a bear is ever chasing me. Like, and also a bear will chase me before, like, long before a bear chases me when I'm running straight down a hill or straight up a hill. A bear will chase me before then, so I should have been spending my time focusing on, can you climb a tree or not? Because a tree would actually be around you. A tree is a tree is a tree, and that's what Maranatha made 20% of their college out of. They made it out of tree wood. That's an interesting choice. I wonder if they chose cyper or burnwood or porous or pine sol, or I wonder which wood they used. Year bark, or was it? I forget. Well, I guess that's all the time I have, and then smoke you later. We're going to take it down a few notches. Bye.